vastly competitive marketplace for things like streaming video content. But that's the thing. I think that there's some reasonableness to, as distinguished from a lot of the concerns we've heard about how, well, Comcast is only going to let political news they agree with, so you won't be able to reach Breitbart and Fox anymore. You'll only be able to reach Breitbart and Fox. That sort of scenario, or you'll be charged $1 for every Google search you want to do. Those all seem like essentially weird fantasies, not like something that's worth worrying about. And I think one reason we hear a lot about those things is that from a consumer perspective, the stuff that in the long run you would maybe worry about from a competitive perspective is stuff that in the short term a consumer probably isn't going to mind too much. So if you hear, well, you're not going to have to pay anymore, but now you get your Netflix faster, that's not something people are going to get outraged about, even though you can argue
it's technically the same thing as privileging some content over others. And
you can argue that in the long run, the consumer might like that now, but that there are competitive, anti-competitive effects of that. But again, in the near term, you can get your Netflix faster for free isn't something that you build a grassroots movement of outrage around.
Brent?
So why are people activated by this? And I think there are different factions in the net neutrality movement. It is a movement. I think your average consumer, your average person who's concerned about net neutrality, they're concerned about anti-competitive behavior by internet service providers who in many markets do have market power. And I think that's the most legitimate concern. You have another faction. I would say that the big tech companies, the Netflixes of the world, the Googles, the Facebooks, who are more concerned about economic concerns, whether they'll get fair pricing to access consumers, and that's another faction. And then you have really the leaders of the movement who started this, like Tim Wu, who coined the term net neutrality, wrote the first piece. And for them, this is really a kind of legal academy. It's about the FCC having a hand in shaping the future of the internet and what the network will look like, what media industry will look like, because this is what the FCC has done in the past: is shape media, shape distribution. And as Tim Wu said, net neutrality is about not competitive issues, but giving the FCC the ability to shape culture and media and the democratic process.
And that is a feature and not a bug? As they see it?
For many in the legal academy, yes, this is a feature. That FCC has historically played this ostensible role of shaping the media industry. Broadcast TV and broadcast radio, most famously, they're very interventionist, but it would look different for the internet. I mean, it's just a very different distribution system, but it's about pulling the internet into the world of the FCC, because the policy right now is very deregulatory. The Chairman Pai, who has reversed the 2015 rules this week, on the free market side, they point to this policy statement in the 96 Act from Bill Clinton, the Republican Congress, that the internet should be unfettered from federal and state regulation, and that's generally been the policy until 2015.
But the people who are pushing the net neutrality, and I don't see it going anywhere. I think this will be an extremely contentious thing for the FCC going forward for years until some regulatory apparatus is imposed and sticks for any length of time. But it seems that the big concern was, we don't want any content that is delivered into your home to be privileged above other content that could be delivered into your home. And that there are technical reasons to think that that's a huge challenge, but on its face it seems like a pretty reasonable thing, that I just want hot and cold running internet, and I want to get access to internet, and it's viewed as sort of a homogeneous good that is dumped into your house.
Right. There's this misperception that the internet, kind of like the water system, is a tap and you just turn it on and off. And that's a gross simplification of the internet, which is much different. I mean, wireless broadband, consumer usage is increasing 30-40% a year. You don't see that for any other utility. And on wireless, also on wireline, but particularly in wireless, where the physics make it more difficult, there are 9 layers of priority in wireless systems, and this is because voice calls need to be prioritized over an email or once a day data backup. You want gaming